This episode is brought to you by 180 Markets, where it is our goal to bring every individual, fund manager, family office, or any qualified investor access to Australian Stock Exchange capital raises. If you are ever interested in how to access ASX capital raises in a super simple way, 180 Markets is for you. The sign-up process is easy. You just upload your ID, proof of your investor status, and your current brokerage account information. The settlement of shares goes right into your existing account, and you can access our very next capital raise. If you're interested in free, easy access to thousands of ASX capital raises, including placements, IPOs, reverse takeovers, and more, check out 180markets.com.au. Hello, everybody. Welcome again. Another edition of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. Friends, this is a year, obviously, like no other year. COVID has affected each and every one of us. But what I've really noticed is that trends that were already in place have even further accelerated. And then some other industries like travel, entertainment, live events have come to a complete standstill. Well, friends, the saying in life is timing is everything. And today we have an incredibly special edition of 18 Minutes with you, because we have a company, Flexiroam, that not only is in contactless payments, which is a trend that was in place and is going to continue, but they also are in the travel industry via their mobile business. And that is going to sharply rebound on today's amazing news for everybody from Pfizer. Anyway, with that introduction, Jef Ong, MD of Flexiroam, welcome to 18 Minutes with 180 Markets.
Thanks, Greg, and good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Jeff, everyone's got a story. Just tell us in a couple of minutes your background, please.
Sure. I'm from a telecommunication background myself for more than 20 years now. And I have serious passion in connectivity, starting off as an engineer myself. And along the way, I realized that there is a huge vision and ambition for myself to actually build a telco that runs on an asset-light model, right? Kind of think of being an Uber for a telecommunication company. So in that sense, I started Flexiroam back in 2011 by working with all the mobile operators around the world, having a relations with them that I can actually roam on their network. And then I built applications on top of these relations. So today, Flexiroam has got more than 580 mobile network providers as our partners, where we can actually ride on their infrastructure and offer different types of services to consumers all around the world.
Absolutely. And Jeff, for those of you, our viewers that are not quite as familiar with your business, can you just give an overview? You have two segments, but let's start out maybe with the mobile data business, just geographically where you're located, and how is your product maybe a bit different than just buying a standard Telstra prepaid mobile for travel?
Sure. Well, before the COVID-19 or the coronavirus, we are one of the leading eSIM application for travelers around the world. They simply download the mobile apps into their phone and they can buy more than 800 over data plans on the destination that they are traveling to. Today, we have coverage for literally anywhere around the world. Most of our customers are people who are in the air crew, like in travel industry, like air crew, travel, tour guides, frequent travelers, business travelers, who oftentimes would hop around different countries in a single trip or in a year itself. So with Flexiroam, we can easily download the app, buy plans, and share it with their friends and family around the world. We also have a digital wallet embedded in our application that allows the travelers to purchase plans on the go. It's really user-friendly, and its user experience are really, really good for frequent flyers. Now, in the post-COVID-19 environment, Flexiroam now is no longer just a data plan or data providers for travelers. We are a super connector for both people and machines that constantly need links to live, learn, and leverage. And what I say by that means that the same connectivity that we've built for travelers around the world can also be used for machine. And particularly where we are heading towards now, it's in the financial sector, where we are looking at empowering a lot of mobile payment point of sale systems or the smart point of sale systems that needs connectivity.
Absolutely. And so I suppose, just to bring it back for a second, certainly COVID has hurt the travel business very, very hard. But as I said, the news today with Pfizer cannot be understated. And, certainly there could be an enormous rebound in your business and in a very short amount of time, especially with international travelers. And I suppose what I was curious about is, do you have any sense of how many people maybe have postponed trips or postponed travel plans as opposed to just full stop canceling?
Well, based on some of the statistics that I gotten from the airlines, that there's about 60% of their customers are postponing their trips, which means that they can't wait to get out to travel again, right? And the fact of the matter is that many of us were designed and created not to stay at home forever, right? We can't wait to live our life again. Like myself, I'm wearing a batik shirt now. I can't wait to get out to Bali and have my hot sun and sitting by the beach again, And that's the natural and the normal of every single person. Eventually, they will want to go somewhere and gain some really, really interesting life experiences out of the country, right? And that's what we do in Flexiroam. We anticipate that is going to happen down the road. We don't know when, but we are really, really preparing ourselves to capitalize on that opportunity when the travel rebound happens.
Absolutely. And I think it's safe to say, and just hearing some of the commentaries out of the US companies this morning, the amount of pent-up demand is just incredible. So many bookings have gone through between the July of 2021 and December of 2021 period. A number of, certainly the cruises and hotels are already sold out. So that's a good forward indication. I think.
Oh, great. In China, they have this term called the travel revenge, right? And if you look at the China domestic travel, it's a huge amount of surgeons of people really rushing out to travel, even though they can't travel out of China, right? So the travel revenge, it's likely going to happen if the borders are open.
Absolutely. And then, so we understand the mobile phone, the data plans, the ease of the use product, and it certainly makes sense about the pent-up demand. Switching a little bit now over to contactless payments, can you just talk about how it's, for Flexiroam, this is actually a pretty natural evolution given your technology and the way that your platform works. Can you just discuss a little bit about the contactless payments business?
Okay, just before I jump into contactless, I just want to wrap it up on the contactless connectivity as well. During the past 6 months, we've been working closely with large phone manufacturers like Apple to really bring a new user experience for travel in the post-COVID environment, right? So we likely see that there will be a change of behaviors of travelers. Some of the key characteristics that we anticipate is that no longer travelers will crowd at the booths. Typically travelers, when they arrive at a destination country, they will crowd at the booth, they will buy a pocket MiFi or rent a pocket MiFi, or they will share the devices among each other. That trend is likely going to be changed. And we see that eSIM is going to be an important play, right? And that will kind of accelerate the adoption of eSIM, knowing that there are more than 3 generations of Apple products now, be it iPhone, iPad, and as well as a MacBook Air, are now eSIM supported, right? Now, Flexiroam has been working closely with some of these device manufacturers to bring a whole new customer experience, right, for these travelers, especially, preventing them to having to physically get in contact to get this connectivity. So that is going to be something big and huge where Flexiroam has been focusing on in the past 6 months and waiting for the travel rebound to happen. And that will bring a new mobile experience for these customers. For the same contactless connectivity that we are looking at, we also see a huge opportunity on the contactless payment as well, right? And that's where I'm going to bring on to your question with regards to contactless payment. We see that the adoption of e-wallets are booming, particularly in the Southeast Asia region. Flexiroam is an Australian listed company, but the operations are based in Southeast Asia. And we see that trend happening, growing at a double-digit year-on-year, particularly in the unbanked sector, many of the consumers now no longer have a credit card, but they just have an e-wallet to facilitate their day-to-day transaction. That means that a lot of merchants will need to upgrade their point of sale terminal to a smart point of sale terminal. Now, the difference between a typical traditional point of sale terminals and a smart point of sale terminal is that the smart point of sale terminals are able to accept e-wallet transactions that relies heavily on the camera and its QR code, right? Now, the technology is a little bit different from the credit card where it uses RFID technology. Now, the e-wallets are mainly focusing on the camera and QR code, and that change of the mobile terminals gave us an opportunity to provide a connectivity service with these payment service providers. So we see that as a trend moving forward, particularly in the Southeast Asia region, and Flexiroam can leverage on the existing connectivity technology that we built for our travel business, and now leveraging it and building on top from strength to strength in this vertical.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds huge because, as we said before, that that's a trend that, you know, the electronic payment space that's already been in place, and it sounds like what Flexiroam is doing is just taking that trend to another level with the e-wallets, and then also, and I think it's important for our Australian audience to understand that in Southeast Asia, generally speaking, you're mobile phone leaders as far as the adoption using different technologies. Is that your experience as well?
Well, yeah, and it's not just Southeast Asia. You know, if you look at the global environment, 56% of the mobile point of sales are still using a traditional physical line, which means the credit card terminal are connected to a phone line. And only 44% of them are on wireless using technology like 4G or 3G to facilitate the transactions. Now, there is a huge market for these mobile point of sale systems. In the world globally, it's estimated by 2024, there will be 103 million cellular point of sale terminals, and it's growing at a 9.5% rate. And this is a research done by Research Markets, right? And you can easily find it online. And so the transition from a traditional mobile point of sale to a wireless mobile point of sale, or even to a smart point of sale systems, it's going to be huge in the coming years.
Absolutely. And can you just talk a little bit about your Flexiroam is a it's an agnostic platform, if you will. Is that correct? Where you can plug into whether it's Vodafone, Telstra, Optus, or whomever. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So one of our partners and most of our major customers are the payment service providers, which means they are like banks or they are partners to banks where they facilitate the terminals or the hardware terminals for the merchants. A lot of their revenue models are based on transaction, which means they take a cut on every single transaction that goes through. So ensuring the high availability of the connectivity is critical to them, right? Which means that the more transaction it facilitates, the more revenue they get. And if the transaction doesn't go through, more than often is due to the connectivity issue. Either in a certain particular location, that particular mobile network coverage is out of coverage or it's not strong. And you see that happening in Australia. Pockets of places are not covered with a decent mobile connectivity, right? And where Flexiroam plays its advantage is that because we have designed our infrastructure to be agnostic to the telco, which means for a single connectivity or a single service that some of these payment service providers obtain for us, they can latch and hook on to multiple mobile operators at one go, right? So with a single platform, they can actually relying on a single relationship that they have built with us, and they get access to multiple operators domestically or even internationally. That really, really gives them a much better in terms of the quality of service, the high availability of coverage, and as well as a good operation flow for them to manage internally rather than having to have multiple relationships with multiple telecom providers.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like you're kind of like the gateway or the hub,
Aggregator.
if you will.
Correct. So we aggregate all the mobile operators into a single cloud platform that they can easily integrate with.
Right. And is that also, I suppose, how you're able to switch over onto the mobile plan side? How is it that somebody can travel from Indonesia to Singapore or to wherever it may be seamlessly?
Absolutely.
So, you know, It sounds, as I said, it really is a two-pronged story, as we were discussing before, where you have the sharp rebound in lifestyle, if you will, with travel and payments, which is just going to keep going. Jeff, what should investors, in your mind, how would you view success over the next 12 months? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things still up in the air, but what would you love to see from Flexiroam over the next year?
I think Flexiroam will be positioned as a super connector for people and machines, right? That constantly need to links, that constantly need connectivity to live, learn, and leverage. Now, as we all know, connectivity is becoming an important part of our lives, right? Be it in our home, we have smart homes, government are talking about smart cities, factories are talking about smart factories, automobile are talking about smart automobile, and all these smart industry require one single thing, which is connectivity itself. And connectivity sometimes can be really cumbersome and patchy and complex. And the result of that will actually have loss of information. There will be costly maintenance, loads of administrations in order to facilitate a good quality of connectivity. Where Flexiroam is that because of our expertise, innovation, and research and development that we put in with network providers all around the world, we are really, really passionate to tie up all these loose ends to create one endless link to infinite possibilities for providers all around the world. So we are really, really passionate and really, really excited in terms of how we are going to be able to really, really be part of the Internet of Things, as well as the consumer experience on the mobile, on the lifestyle, as you mentioned, on the travel sector as well.
Absolutely. And in both sectors, the thought comes to my mind of, lift, learn, and leverage, but also speed, which is that your ability to integrate on a contactless payment is quite quick, number one. And number two, on the travel side, I suppose for a consumer to become a customer of yours is, again, the speed is of the essence, but it's simple for you, isn't it?
I think it's also down to the technology expertise that we have within our team itself, that we have built a very robust stack in our design and architecture that allows us to build on 4 C's, right? We have the connectivity layer, right? Where I'll call the 4 C's. First layer is the connectivity layer. That's where we do the collaboration with all the mobile operators around the world. And then we build on top, which is the collaboration layer, which we can integrate it into different tech players or different verticals. So for example, one of our customers is actually MasterCard, right? Where we actually integrate with them and allow their MasterCard holders all around the world to have an eSIM connectivity that bundled together with their credit card. And then we have a customization layer, which we work with service integrators around the world to actually develop a new customization on top of the connectivity that we have. And finally, we have the customer experience layer. That's where we are able to turn some of the basic connectivity into a new vertical, such as travel, whether it's a financial tech or smart factory down the road. So that robust architecture that we built within the company itself allow us to really, really pivot or even build new verticals very quickly down the road.
Fantastic. Jeff, we try to keep these things short and sharp. As I said before, it really is an incredible day, and certainly it should be an incredible day for your company as well. It's about time we get back to things. Any closing remarks for the audience?
Well, my closing remark is that I think Flexiroam would really, really be excited, and we hope that we will be able to be part of the journey together with you. And for Flexiroam, we will continue. We will always focus on these 4 key principles within ourselves. First is actually the global. We will always try to build product that can serve a global base of customers that would bring benefit to a global base of community. Secondly is GARD. A is asset-light. We always try to build our technology based on an asset-light model that allows us not to invest too much on the CapEx, but invest in acquiring customers. R is recurring revenue. We focus on getting recurring revenue on most of the new ventures that we go into. For example, like the mobile point of sale business, because we are getting a subscription rental and get a recurring rental. It's a good recurring revenue. Same for our travelers as well. Most of our customers are frequent flyers. They are giving us recurring revenue. And finally is digital, which is We want to build technology that are really able to scale up for the same product, whether there will be 100 million users, 10 million users, or 1 million users. We're going to have a very flat cost structure in maintaining the business. And that is key and a very important factor for us to be able to survive the COVID-19. For the fact of the matter is that we are able to cost down substantially by removing the marketing costs, but yet able to keep the travel business alive and growing from strength to strength moving forward.
Jeff, thank you very much. And I'm sure we'll hear back from you very soon.
Thanks, Greg.
Bye-bye. Thank you for watching another presentation by 180 Markets. Don't forget, if you want access to thousands of ASX capital raises, head on over to 180markets.com.au, sign up, and get on board for our very next capital raise. Thanks for watching.